Assalamu alaikum. For today's session, episode 9, I just want to very briefly go through some quotations about the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and why people throughout the ages, many of these are non-Muslims, many of these are scholars, and why they found the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam as an inspiring role model. So inshallah, within 10 minutes, I shall try and get through this as quickly as possible. I shall leave out the commentaries, and let's just leave it for the quotation to speak for themselves. Barnaby Rogerson. The life of the Prophet Muhammad is a story of overpowering pathos and beauty. It is history, tragedy, enlightenment compressed into one tale. It is also a story virtually unknown in the West. Again, Barnaby Rogerson says, Muhammad, the Prophet of God, the last and greatest of that long line of men, from Adam through to Abraham, Moses, and Jesus, who have struggled to bring the word of God to mankind. Even when viewed in an entirely secular perspective, he remains a superhero. It is impossible, and this is by Annie Besant in her book The Life and Teachings of Muhammad 1932, it is impossible for anyone who studies the life and character of that great prophet of Arabia, who knows how he taught and how he lived, to feel anything but reverence for that mighty prophet, one of the great messengers of the Supreme. And although in what I put to you I shall say many things which may be familiar to many, yet I myself feel whenever I reread them a new way of admiration, a new sense of reverence for that mighty Arabian teacher. And Arthur Glynn Leonard, in the book Islam, Her Moral and Spiritual Values, it was the genius of Muhammad, the spirit that he breathed into the Arabs through the soul of Islam, that exalted them, that raised them out of the lethargy and low level of tribal stagnation, up to the high watermark of national unity and empire. It was the sublimity of Muhammad's deism, the simplicity, the sobriety, and purity it inculcated, the fidelity of its founders to his own tenets, that acted on their moral and intellectual fiber with all the magnetism of true inspiration. He was Caesar and Pope in one, but he was Pope without Pope's pretensions, Caesar without the legions of Caesar, without a standing army, without a bodyguard, without a palace, without a fixed revenue. If ever any man had the right to say that he ruled by the right divine, it was Muhammad, for he had all the power without its instruments and without its supports. That's by Bosworth Smith in Muhammad and Mohammedism, London, 1874. And Karen Armstrong in her book Islam, A Short History, has this to say. Muhammad had in fact finally achieved victory by an ingenious policy of non-violence. The Quran adamantly opposes force and coercion in religious matters, and its vision, far from preaching exclusion and separation, the vision is tolerant and inclusive. Dr. Zweimer, in the book entitled The East and Its Customs, undoubtedly Muhammad is one of the greatest Muslim religious leaders. Edwin Gibbon, in The Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire, 1823. The good sons of Muhammad despised the pomp of royalty. The apostle of God submitted to the menial offices of the family. He kindled the fire, he swept the floor, he milked the ewes, and mended with his own hands his shoes and his garments. And in the publication Singapore, Volume 1, Number 8, 1936, The Genuine Islam, this is what is written. He was by far the most remarkable man that ever set foot on this earth. He preached a religion, he founded a state, he built a nation, he laid down a moral code, he initiated numerous social and political reforms, he established a powerful and dynamic society to practice and present his teachings, and completely revolutionized the words of human thought and behavior for all times to come. His name is Muhammad. May peace of God be upon him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He was born in Arabia in the year of 570 CE, starting his mission of preaching the religion of truth, Islam, submission to one God, at the age of 40 years, and departed from this world at the age of 63. During the short period of 23 years of his prophethood, he changed the complete Arabian Peninsula from paganism and idolatry to the worship of one God, from tribal quarrels and wars to national solidarity and cohesion, from drunkenness and debauchery to sobriety and piety, from lawlessness and anarchy to disciplined living, from utter bankruptcy to the highest standards of moral excellence. Human history has never known such a complete transformation of a people or a place before that or ever since after that. And Sir George Bernard Shaw, in the book The Genuine Islam, Volume 1, Number 8, 1936, has this to say: I have always held the religion of Muhammad in high estimation because of its wonderful vitality. It is the only religion which appears to me to possess that assimilating capacity to the changing phase of existence which can make itself appeal to every age. The clergyman in the Middle Ages, as a result of discrimination and ignorance, had painted a dim picture for Muhammad. They considered him an enemy for Christianity. However, after researching his personality, I discovered that he was a great man. He was never an enemy for Christianity.